who are not able to join today, so that they can watch also. But hopefully the last session, all participants can join at least for some time, so that we have a chance to finalize before our graduation what would be the steps for submission if you have any pending questions. So today our focus is on the job interview itself. Before we do that, I just want to remind you our journey. As we said, it was 2.5 months, and we started from Sri Lanka, and with our team. We call our team Global because we represent different cultures and different countries. As you know, Ashita has joined from Bangladesh, and I'm really so grateful that she was part of our team and sessions, because she shared a lot about the importance of stress management and generally other skills that help us to be healthy in the workplace, in our families. Also, Marie has joined from Sri Lanka, but she has intercultural communication skills after working in different countries, same as Imali. And we unfortunately didn't have a chance to interact more with Uliana because she was based in Russia this time, and she had some family related issues. That's why she could not join. At the same time, you remember how many people joined us from different countries? Which countries you remember? We had Dr. Irina. She's from Russia, but she joined from Switzerland, where she's currently based, to talk about the topic of inner peace and physical health, right? Then we had, if you remember, Silifat. Silifat has joined us from Nigeria. That is the country in West Africa, and she's also specialized in emotional well-being, and she's a social worker as well. She talked about empathy and emotional intelligence. So please, if you didn't have a chance to watch their sessions, please do watch. This is very useful, as we realized these skills are very useful, soft skills for our job experience. And then we had a chance also to invite, unfortunately it's not visible on the map, but we had our speaker from India, right, joining, Shankar, who also discussed the topic of inner peace and well-being. He's a psychologist, so I hope you learned some practices from him, how to become a little bit happier in life. And Kapila, he's from Sri Lanka, also with international experience, and he helped us to discuss the importance of creativity in daily life, not only in professional, right? So, and of course, we had such amazing opportunity also to find out more about employment opportunities in Sri Lanka from Manik Gunaratne. Thank you for being part of this journey and sharing your experience with us. At the same time, we have our team, and we'll get a chance, of course, to a little bit share more personal feedback during our graduation. It depends how we will arrange it, online, offline. But just to remind you that also we did a lot in terms of topics. If you check number of skills we have covered, it's more than 20 skills. And I encourage you also, please do check those topics you could not attend in the classroom, because these skills we are going now to test during job interview. But don't worry, we are learning in the classroom, so don't take it as an exam which is formal. It's just like an experience which should be pleasant for you. At the same time, we learn from each other, right? So regarding assignments, let me clarify what exactly we expect. As we communicated today, you have time still until next Thursday. That means it's better, of course, to submit it before Monday or Tuesday, because we want to have time to check it so that we can finalize all the list of students. And we want you all to succeed in this program. That's why whatever questions, difficulties you have, feel free to discuss with us or maybe other FEMtrain participants. Those already who completed assignments, they can guide you and share their experience, how they did it, right? And we have 10 assignments which are in the list of compulsory for soft skills. So we expect you to submit 7 out of 10 which are compulsory, right? So what that means? It's better to have 10 out of 10, but if you really cannot manage all 10, you can have 7 out of 10. So if you check all the tasks, the task number 1, you have it as a file. You just have to answer it could be Word document, or else you can print it as a PDF document and just answer the questions. And then overall score you have to submit. I hope those who did it, you can actually also share your experience, how it was. Task number 2. If you have any questions, you can ask, right? Task number 2, you had a bit challenging task. This is one of the most difficult tasks, but I'm really proud that many of you have submitted it. So the task was about identifying your self-limiting self-beliefs that you have related to your key areas in life. For example, it can be career, your friends, friendship, social life, or maybe health, I don't know. Whatever area of life you have selected, you had to identify these beliefs that you would like to change and the actions that you will take to improve and basically improve that area of your life. So this task number 2, if you have any questions, please clarify, because it's a little bit difficult task, right? But I have seen that many of you did it really, like you did a lot of work that shows that you understood it. Task number 3, values. I think this is just a matter of checking. If you don't understand some words, you can copy paste to translator, Google Translator, and clarify the meaning so that you can answer all the questions, right? And same for test discussing your archetype. Then we had the role model assignment. So that is about you, about the person that motivates, encourages you. So you had to answer the question why you have chosen that person as a role model. So that's not so challenging. If you want, you can share more than one person with us also. Then task number 6, we had to complete your personal canvas. So this is related to your career, but at the moment, if you don't know exactly what job you would like to do, you can also mention related to your hobby, right? It could be your hobby, it could be any of your education related activities. But make sure that you also include this information related to your values, your life purpose, your vision in life, mission in life, life goals, and a little bit information about yourself, your skills, your interests, and your personal mantra. It could be something that motivates you, one sentence that you can repeat when you are in difficult situation to motivate yourself. And then you can choose also some additional points which are not included to add to your customized personal Canva, which we call also professional. It has to be a little bit more professional oriented, but if you want to have more personal life there, it's also fine. And then 7, task 7 was about creativity skills. So all of you, I think most of the assignments we have received already, and thank you for your creativity. And we encourage you to share it now in our account that we have created, Telegram account, for others also to like and share on social media. If you are ready to share it on social media, that's also fine, right? I mean, social media, that is for your personal use, but if it is related to your current professional or job-oriented profile, then you can also share there. If it's about your skills in that field to support your professional profile, right? And then task 8, we had with you about public speaking. So not all submitted, but this is kind of compulsory. It's very important for you to submit public speaking, speech or else presentation. So still this assignment is pending for many of you. So please check it, and we expect you to submit it. Then review, you can do on the speech of another person as an option instead of your personal speech. Right, and task number 9, we encourage you to start gratitude journal. So some of you already shared today, and please share in FEMtrain WhatsApp also for others to have a look, to be motivated to do the same. I mean, different, not the same, but you can have different design because it's your personal journal you will use for gratitude to mention all your positive experiences of the day, both in personal and professional life, right? And task number 10, it's about motivational letter for university. So, or else cover letter for your job. So this assignment, we will help you to finalize today because we will have slides more about cover letter. And I hope it's not that difficult, like to choose. If you have still difficulties, let us know which assignment you need to clarify. And related to job interview, this is another module. So please, we expect you to submit 3 out of 4 at least. There are 4 assignments here, but if you do 3 out of 4, that's also fine, right? For getting your certificate in job interview skills. At the same time, today we will practice, right, this area. So we expect you to submit career goals and also your personal development plan, mentioning actions that you will take to develop your skills that you identified as your weaknesses, for example. And also you have CV to be submitted and LinkedIn profile or Facebook. Better to have LinkedIn profile because that's more professional, where you have more job opportunities available, right? And communities also. At the same time, there was assignment about success to be submitted in written. So I hope now you are clear about expectations. And now we'll move to clarify career statements, career mission we already did last time. So to guide you, you can use these slides to understand how to draft your career mission and also how to finalize your individual development plan. You can use this template where you have qualifications or skills you want to improve. Based on that, you can plan your actions using this template. If you want, you can use it in handwriting simply, or else you can print out and fill the form-like table where you will mention your goals, steps to develop, action steps, and also when you plan to achieve it by the date, deadline, okay? And evaluate yourself, give yourself positive gratitude whenever you do some positive like achievements. Even when you have mistakes, it's not a problem. You have to be grateful that you are doing steps towards your goal, right? And that's about expectations, right? And certificate that you will receive will be based on number of assignments you will submit. Soft skills and job interview, if you submit both for both modules assignments, but if you submit only for soft skills, then you will get only soft skills, right? Certificate. I hope that's clear. Yeah, and regarding our graduation, we want you to provide feedback. If you are ready to join in our graduation to come to Manchester International, which is based in Gampaha. So can you please mention in the chat now those participants who will be able to come next week? The date may be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday based on the your feedback, when it's easier for you to come, if you are able to come, right? So can you just mention in the chat those participants who will be able to join so that we can have better idea? Those participants who can come. Manchester, it's like in Gampaha city itself. If you check location, it's in the city, not far from railway station also, comparatively. Those participants who are not from Gampaha probably you may not know exactly location. So this is exactly the building, how it looks like. And based on your feedback, we want to see who can come. Please type in the chat, or else you can send message in WhatsApp also, so that we can have number of participants who confirm that they can come, right? Next week, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. If it won't be possible, then we will organize it online, right? Right, so I can understand some of you may not be able to join because of distance and other reasons, commitments that you have. So let's see how it's possible for us to arrange. Right, so this is our team. I wanted to show you that we have a team work in our institute. So at the same time, right, at the same time, we have created Fempower's own community. It is a Telegram account where we have a chance to continue our networking, coaching, other services, and also sharing experience. So please join. We will share the link. Those who are interested, we already added actually those participants that I could find using your mobile numbers, but other participants, you have to provide information, or else you can find us using the name Fempower's own community, right? Because we will continue in WhatsApp, so please don't leave it, because it will be another channel of communication with you after the program. We will conduct some online events also. And we want to remind you also that there is a partnership with Minsara Bookshop, so in Gampaha and some other locations in Nigambo, Kadavete, and Kuliapitia. So you can use facilities as library in this bookshop, especially in Gampaha. There is an office where you can always come and read books, right? So we'll be sharing the slides so that you can check it, right? So I can see some participants say days also. It's better if you mention the days so that we can see a number of students who can come specific days, weekends, Friday, or else Saturday or Sunday, right? So that's about our plans. And now we are moving with you to final section, which is job interview. And just to remind you about CV. There is a compulsory assignment to draft your CV. So what you can mention there is an objective statement that says about your professional goal related to your career. So if you are ready, you can write it. It can be 1 or 2 sentences. For example, as we already discussed, it can be exactly your career mission, like to provide equal employment opportunities for women, like in my case, I would say that, to empower women to reach their highest potential, to realize their potential. So that's about my professional goal. Likewise, you can mention your goal. Maybe some of you would like to achieve some managerial position or work for specific organization in general. So after you mention your objective in your CV, it's better to mention your employment experience. But if you don't have still employment experience, you have a chance to mention your volunteering, all the projects you participated. You can even mention your FEMtrain program, because here you had a chance to do different projects, assignments also that help to develop your soft skills, right? And the education, of course, education, it's more about your related to your secondary education, if you have any technical or college or university, but at the same time, you can mention our program as well. And community service, in this context, we have a section in some textbooks they mention as community service, but it's like volunteering experience. If you had the chance to participate or be a member, especially membership in some communities, so you can also mention that. Even some religious membership or organizations like that. And finally, we have references, people who can recommend you that you have skills to do specific job, right? So you can mention 2 or 3 people, those people who can be also your role models. That's, you see now importance of role models, but they cannot be your parents. In this case, you cannot mention your parents as your references, right? And your relatives, because it has conflict of interest. You have to introduce people as referees who are not from your close circle, right, of influence. So if we give you example of CV, also before that, I want you to check vocabulary that you should use. Please use vocabulary with collocations to talk about your job, your experience, your skills. So some of you may be interested in full-time job, some of you may be in part-time job, or permanent or temporary, right? Likewise. And before you even start your CV, please ask yourself these questions, like what responsibilities you would like to have, what responsibilities you already had in your previous assignments. Maybe you had a leadership assignments in your school, or maybe projects. Maybe you are interested to do more job from home. In that case, you have to mention that, of course. There are many job opportunities online, as we discussed, and working from home, there could be options. So what time do you want to leave to work and come back? This is maybe not so flexible in Sri Lanka, but in some companies there is flexibility. Like they can allow you to work from 10 to 6, or different starting time, or maybe compressed working hours, right? Or maybe hopefully you will have flexible working hours if you can negotiate as part-time job, right? Or based on assignment. So what routine would you like to have? These questions you have to ask yourself even before job interview, because you have a right to choose. Don't forget, you should not agree if you don't like the job, if you don't like conditions, if you cannot simply like for some reasons, personal or maybe other reasons, you will not be able to go to office at specific hours. Maybe you can negotiate, right? Different hours. Always check these opportunities. But of course, we have different options like full-time, part-time, permanent, temporary jobs. So if you work from 9 to 5, of course, it's more full-time job, right? But if you work for more than 10 hours for the same company, that probably you have permanent job. But if you choose to work some hours only, then you have to have more flexibility in your life, because maybe you will have children or other reasons, already have children. Then it can be temporary job or part-time job, part-time job, or maybe even permanent, but part-time. Then if you have a chance to maybe, like it says, I've been here since March, I'll leave in July when the designs are finished. So when you have project-based assignment, when you can have to complete it and then you leave for next job, then it is temporary, of course, based on assignment. We are supposed to work, if you are supposed to work specific number of hours a week, that means probably you do permanent full-time job also. In Sri Lankan regulation, as we discussed, it could be 40 hours per week, but there is difference based on the company. Then 5 option, we have started working since when you left school, and maybe you will choose to work in the same place for more than 20 years. In that case, you will have permanent job for the rest of your life, right? It's up to you, it's your choice, right? And this job is only for 6 months. Maybe some jobs will be only temporary. After that, you will change your country. You may even choose to change your location. In that case, we can talk about temporary also job, right? So likewise, when you talk about ways of working, don't forget that we have flexible working hours, especially if you check legislation. Some companies provide that option, those options. And maybe some of you will have to work in shifts. That's another like nature of job. For example, military staff who are doing in healthcare sectors do these types of jobs, right? And don't forget that to commute to office takes a lot of time. That's why working from home could be also a good option if you want to balance better your work life, personal life. And you should not blame yourself, and you should not compare yourself with other people, because it's your personal choice, whatever suits better based on your career mission. So then, of course, all of us, we want to have satisfying, stimulating, fascinating, and exciting job. And we want to have positive feelings from our workplace. So please don't agree to work in a place where you are not respected. And of course, the job can be boring, uninteresting at first. Then maybe you could not understand the job, or maybe it could be other reasons, because it's not the job that you really have talent to do, or could be reasons because you are not still skilled. So please ask yourself these questions, why you may be feeling bored to do some job. But don't blame yourself again, try to find the reason, right? Repetitive, some jobs can be routine jobs. Some people may not like them, but some people are better at doing routine jobs, like doing the same types of documents, maybe admin type of job where you have to print documents for your manager, admin staff, for example. But there could be routine jobs in the factories also, right? So tiring jobs could be because of conditions, and demanding because of course, maybe some tasks could be difficult, but demanding and challenging, it doesn't mean it's a bad job. It means that you have a chance to grow personally, hopefully. So the golden rule is that when you have learning experience in your job, that means you can do this job for many years. But in my case also, I believe that the moment you stop learning in a new job, you have to leave this job, unless you have motivation, maybe to inspire other people. But still, it's important to have learning experience in your job, to learn something new, I mean, every time. And then nature of work. Nature of work, that means you have to mention in your CV what exactly you will do. You will work with people, or you will work with maybe specifically with customers, or maybe with solving problems, specific skills and qualifications. So some of us may choose to work in type of highly skilled jobs, which are more design, creativity, innovation related. Some of us may choose to work in skilled related jobs, like skilled means we have managerial jobs where still we need to have qualifications, right? And some of us maybe choose semi-skilled jobs where you need to have some training, only vocational training, and after that you may do these jobs. For example, driving could be example that you have to do some training, and after that it can be considered as a job, right? Unskilled jobs, of course, for those people who may not even need to do some training, but still these jobs are very important, like cleaning, for example. They are extremely important jobs, but staff usually they don't get specific long-term training, though they may have some like short period training provided, right? So before we draft our CV, we also have and face our job interview. Also, we have to identify our superpower. That means what skills we have that differentiate us, and we can say that we can solve the problems. When we face our job interview, we can always mention that I have these skills that will help to solve certain problems that your company may face, for example. For that, you should be confident that you have these skills, right? Because only saying that is not enough. And some of us may already have skills, but you are not confident enough to say that I have these skills, right? So that's why we had a lot in program talking about confidence, because you have to know how to present yourself. And please learn how to praise yourself. What that means that you have to mention why you are the right fit for this job. You can say that maybe you are practical. That means you have realistic solutions in the projects. You can identify the needs of customers. Or maybe you're ambitious. That means you want to achieve the target no matter what happens, but you are achievement oriented. You want to have the best opportunities, right? Ambitious people usually they become also managers. Reliable. Reliable means that people can trust you, of course. And this is really important. Your integrity, your honesty, you have to show it in the interview. For example, if you don't know something, you can say, you may not say that I don't know, but you may mention that this specific area I have not come across, but I did something similar in my previous assignment. I did similar type of job or project. So I can say, this is my experience. I can apply and learn more how to do this specific job, right? And hardworking. Hardworking means, of course, it's very important, but these days we say it's important to be smart working. Smart means you know how to manage your time, and you meet deadlines, and you can do not multitasking, let's say not only multitasking, but you can be efficient, right? And you can, for example, do some job if other team members are not in the office. That means you can take responsibility for others to replace some of other team members. That means you are flexible. You are ready to change, right? And independent, of course. For that, we have to mention that we are independent in decision making, especially because managers, they need to have that confidence to make decisions. Quality of our decisions will determine our salary. All right. If we do not know how to make decisions, not only about us, but about other people, organization, we cannot be trusted to be a manager also. And experienced, of course, experienced means not only your job experience, but your, as we discussed, school related, education related. Like this program, also it's your experience, because you met a lot of people from different countries. You became a global, to some extent already global, because you are not only seeing local culture, you can see global culture that many of us represent also. That is also your experience, right? And enthusiastic. Enthusiastic means you are positive about what you are doing. And this positivity you bring to the workplace, people will definitely be inspired to work with you. Maybe you can mention you're a good team player. We discussed it a lot, or communication skills or leadership skills. So these are the ways you can talk about yourself, mentioning your skills you are good at. For example, you can give specific skills, or maybe like industry, computer related, or figures or numbers. At the same time, please you can convince that you are the right person to do that job, saying that, of course, you have talents. All of you are talented in different areas, and it may not be only one talent, right? Imali has joined, welcome. We are discussing about importance of praising yourself to create a good impression also in the interview. Importance of showing that you are the right person to face the interview. And you have to be persuasive to convince that you are the right match, right? And of course, we have to use the right language for that. So Imali, would you like to come in if the audio is connected? I think now it's fine, right? Imali, can you hear me? I think it may take time. Still, I cannot hear to connect audio. Just wanted to also maybe to start from sharing job interview related experience, a little bit, maybe some tips for the participants, so that we not only provide the theory today and practice, but also share your experience of doing job interview, or as a person who is conducting an interview. Imali, I think audio is not working. Okay. Still not yet. Okay, maybe we need to restart. It may take a bit of time. Okay, let me know when you are connected. Okay, then we will continue a little bit more so that I can start the section job interview also. So personal qualities, please mention personal qualities that you have. Maybe some of you are with entrepreneurial and proactive mindset. Maybe some of you are emotionally mature and confident. Okay. And then maybe you are better at critical thinking or problem solving. So as we said already, these are all soft skills that you have. Please check this vocabulary. It will be really helpful to include it into your CV, right? And let's not forget that there are different levels at which you can get a job. You may start from the first level where we have a chance to be assistant managers if we are choosing this type of job, still where we have to be as a team player. So next level would be when you may reach middle level of management and doing some white collar jobs, right? And the next level, which is more senior management level in organizations, you may choose to be a head of department at some point in your career, like marketing or finance or management. So as we discussed already, there are challenges that women face because of glass ceiling, because of limitations of culture, and also biases that women may not be easily promoted to this level of senior management. But still, if we set a target, as we said in our career mission, we will be able to achieve it after some years of practice and hard work and dedication, right? So, and for that, I encourage you to do this assignment. Please think of your dream job, and we have it in IELTS exam also. You should be able to talk about your dream job for 2 minutes, given examples how you would imagine your dream job to be, right? So please do this practice at home. And if you would like, you can share it in our Fempower zone community as an audio or video. We would be happy to provide feedback. So Imali, I think now is better, right? Let's check. Now I can hear the sound. Shall we try? There was a sound coming, but I cannot hear you still. Okay. Maybe still needed to be cross-checked. Okay, and there is a sample answer here, how to talk about your plans for the job. So we will be sharing these slides. At the same time, there is a sample of cover letter for a job. You know, this assignment is compulsory for soft skills. So if you check the sample, why cover letter is so important? Because it tells in a nutshell, in a summary, why you are the right candidate for this job. So if I read for you this sample, it can be dear sir or madam, if you address to different people you don't know, or else you can mention name of the person. I'm writing to you, or HR department. I'm writing to you for the, we have to fill the gaps. Can you see what is missing here? There is one word which is missing. What is the right word? What do you think? For the post, right? Post of sales manager advertised on 3rd March in the Times newspaper. So this is important to mention where you find advertisement. First of all, it can be in your newspaper or maybe website, as we said, some websites or company website. So then next sentence, I have worked for the past 2 years in a junior, probably as a junior manager in an electronics company in the marketing department, right? So you mentioned exactly what you did before, because you apply for sales management position in this case. I feel now is the right time to apply for a higher position, as I believe I have gained the necessary experience. So maybe you should not say that I feel now, it's more personal, but you can mention that you have enough experience, right? You have experience and skills and expertise to competence to do this, to work in this industry. So as I've mentioned, and I am you can mention specific qualified engineer. Maybe you have some qualifications you can mention enclosed attachment, like your degrees, and believe I have excellent management skills. So you talk about yourself, you believe in yourself. This is the importance of showing your confidence, right? And next, my salary at present is 25,000 pounds a year. So why it is important to mention it? Because as you get salary in a new company, as a job offer, they should know what exactly your expectations are in terms of salary. So you have to mention your previous salary if you had it before. For first, if you do first-time job, then of course your salary will be adjusted as per the range provided by the company, right? For the entry jobs, types of jobs. Imali, so is it still? Let me know if it is better.
Hi, Julia.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Now it's better. Okay, right. All is fine. So I just wanted also for you to share. This is just a sample. I will not continue reading further, but just I just want you also to share the importance of cover letters, maybe and CV related. And in general, job interview, we'll move to that point later, probably. If you could stay, I don't know, what is your time today?
Well, I'm happy to listen to, given that it's going to be our last day. Well, about the importance of a cover letter and a job interview, I think a cover letter is mainly for the purpose of helping the employer or your prospective employer understand what your skills are, and mainly to tell what you can do for the organization. So basically your resume is more like a summary of your skills, your achievements, your professional qualification, and who you are as a person. But a cover letter always gives you an opportunity to tell the prospective employer why you're applying for the job, and what can you offer to this organization provided you're selected. So it's more like a step forward and writing your own words out to express that why you really desire this job, and what can you do. So what we recommend that you should do, or what is usually recommended, is that you follow the job description carefully, understand what the job entails in terms of its job responsibilities, in terms of the skills that you need to have, and as well as, you have to try and connect your position or your ability as best as you can to suit that job description. And also a cover letter gives you an opportunity to tell the prospective employer, why should you hire me? Of all the other candidates, why should you hire me? What can I do differently? What is unique about me? And that's what makes you really stand out among, a number of candidates. And an average job, in my role as a recruiter back in the day, I can tell you, we receive about 100 to 150 CVs sometimes. So shortlisting them is quite a task, and we have to go through, cover letters and all sorts of things that the employee sends us, the candidates send us. So a really short and precise cover letter, spelling out who you are as a person, what can you do to the organization, what do you bring as special skills, and why should we select you, is more like my suggestions in putting together a cover letter, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Imali. I'm sorry, I just started from the business, so I forgot to ask, how are you doing? So how is everything?
I'm doing fine. It's a little bit of family reunion here today, because my brother who couldn't come to Sri Lanka for a long time, just about 2 years, because of the COVID, has just arrived, and with him my little nephew, who we have not seen since he was born. Of course, the virtual, we were able to stay in touch on via WhatsApp and stuff. But yeah, so it's a nice, sort of reunion at home. I'm doing well, thank you, Yulia, and I hope you're doing fine as well as everyone else.
Thank you, Imalia. Actually, that's why I wanted for you to come in also, basically to comment, to maybe share experience on the way, because as we jump into job interview, if you are with us, please feel free to share your experience whenever you feel like something is there can be added, right? As we discuss job interview, and we'll do some mock tests today as a game. We will not take it so seriously, but we'll see what is important to mention while doing job interview. Okay, thank you.
Okay, waiting for it. Okay, Yulia.
Right. So then, what else we should know? What we should mention here, that as already Mali has mentioned, that in cover letter you may also mention your experience just in 2 sentences. No need to give too long information here, just a summary. And also, when you are available for an interview, maybe also mentioned, it depends, right? Based on the previous mail that you received, probably. An explanation why you are interested in this position, that motivation that you have, can be also stated in 1 or 2 sentences, as well as your skills. And interesting, in this cover letter, we have a salary, but I have not seen it also mentioned in other cover letters before. So probably it depends on the company, it depends on the culture. So we have to check it, right? What is expected? Basically, as you get to know in Sri Lankan, like context, maybe it's not mentioned, but in some other countries it may be required also, because we state our expectations, right, straight away. And then what else we have here as a sample? You can read it, and please see that it's not too long. It can be just a summary of 2 or 3 paragraphs, right? At the same time, useful language that we can use here, please use expressions which are polite. I would appreciate if it would be or could be possible maybe to communicate some additional information. If you send it as an email, for example, if you have to refuse politely, of course you have to do it. And ending is very important. You can always mention, I look forward to hearing from you, or else I hope to hear from you in the near future, right? You have to be polite. Courtesy is one of the rules of our effective communication. Remember 7 C's: courtesy, clarity, including, being concise, very important. And then reading and review. Don't forget to check grammar mistakes, please. You should have paragraphs. As you can see, as it's shown on the slide, there are paragraphs. You can use space, enter, to separate between paragraphs so that it is structured based on the key ideas. Don't put more than 1 key idea in 1 paragraph. It can be even 1 sentence, 1 paragraph, right? Then, as an example, how you should not do, we share with you a sample, which is like a picture. Unfortunately, maybe I should read it. The points that are not good here basically is that you have it too informal. We have to follow more formal style. And at the same time, you should not mention, like, I can give you references from my teachers if you want, because of course, if references are needed, you have to provide. It's a little bit more informal language, right? You should not say that you need money, because of course all job seekers, they need money, financial side, but it doesn't show that you are professional if you say only I need money. I mean, especially the first time when you meet your when you face job interview, right? And then we have some personal details we have to mention, summary of it, professional experience. What I would like to mention, that is so important to mention achievements. And when you apply for a job on the website, it's always on some application forms, it's mentioned also achievements. So achievement means something that you achieved related to that field, that you may got positive feedback. Of course, you can always mention your projects that you did in this program. You already have achievements, so you have to see them, because if you don't know which achievements we had before, we don't have reason to be proud of ourselves, right? And we should be able to communicate it to our recruiter, right? And education, also achievements. You can mention membership that you had, right? Let's say your graduation results. And what can be helpful is mentioning first your recent job, your recent achievements or education. Then you can mention those that you had maybe a long time ago. So please use action verbs to describe. Don't use passive voice when you write your CV or cover letter. And it's good to mention numbers if you have. You can attach maybe some experience that you had during courses. If you are a graduate, different courses, maybe you had some project, as we already discussed. Then voluntary work, you may have some membership clubs that you have membership, or maybe you organized events, or maybe you taught people and helped other people, created some art, photos, photography, maybe related to travel, videos. I know we have very creative group here. So you have a lot to mention, right, as your experience. At the same time, mistakes that we have in CV that you don't mention your achievements, that if you mention information that is not related to the areas that we discussed, maybe your hobbies, you are not supposed to talk about your hobbies too much in CV, right? Then it may be too colorful. It's better to use colors and more format which is more formal style, font size also. But if you apply for creative type of job like designer, or web designer, it's fine to have that creativity probably in your samples or your portfolio that you will provide, your assignments that you can do, right? So it depends on the type of job you apply for. And then writing a professional profile on social media. So if you are doing maybe some type of freelance job, you can see as an example the summary, how it can be done in just one paragraph. Some of you may already started your website. I'm happy that you have started LinkedIn and Facebook, because that helps you to express yourself as a professional, as an individual, of course. So a lot of space where you can improve your skills on social media as well. And I think we have covered with you stages of job interview. Now we are moving to the part related to job interview. And we are going to focus on the stage which is questions to candidate. That is the middle stage of the interview, after introduction is done about the company, right? Just to remind you, the types of questions we may get could be about your strengths and weaknesses. That's why our SWOT analysis is very important, and we had it also in our FEMtrain program. Mentioning why you want to work, it's about your motivation. So for that, you have to study your organization, as we discussed, that you apply for. There could be questions related to why did you decide to leave your previous employer? So this is very tricky question. So general advice would be, please do not blame your previous job, previous manager, previous team, because it's not a good impression. People don't trust those candidates who are not positive about their past experience. So it's better always to mention maybe you wanted to improve, like to have more learning experience in your job. That's why maybe you left that previous position, right? We don't encourage you to lie or to tell information which is not real, but generally it's not a good idea to say that your manager was a bad person. Please avoid doing this type of like providing this type of feedback. Even if you had this type of challenges, then you can communicate it differently probably, but not in the job interview itself, right? So how do you deal with pressure? Another type of question you may get, because you know stress we had resilience skills in our program, assertiveness skills. That's where we come here to show that we are stress resilient, that we can manage to work under pressure, that we can have clarity of mind. And for that, we have to be focused and concentrated on the task that we do. For that, we have to have better time management skills, right? Your salary expectations, another tricky question. I think we touched it last time. As I mentioned, it's good to mention your expectation, but maybe in Sri Lankan culture, people are not ready also directly to say what exactly your salary expectation. So what you can do, you can check range that is paid in these types of jobs, and maybe you can mention that I know for these types of jobs, the range in the job market could be from 50 to 60,000, for example, right? So that could be also acceptable. I don't know if Yumali has anything to add here on salary or how it is in Sri Lankan context, or how candidates usually answer these types of questions, salary related.
Hi again, everyone. Well, I think when it comes to salary, some organizations are quite open to negotiate and willing to offer, a candidate a good salary, provided the candidate proves themselves really well, has exceptional skills, and demonstrates what they're looking for in that for a position, for a potential candidate in that position. So basically, some organizations are actually open to ask what the salaries are, and or at least give you a hint of the salary scale, or usually some job templates even give a salary range. So candidates usually have an a good understanding in terms of, the range of salary offered for that particular title or for that particular job role. A third thing is also sometimes if you're demanding over and above the range, or at the highest level, usually we also had a practice in my previous organization where we request them to give us or submit to us salary slips from their previous employer, just so we understand that we don't want to disappoint the oncoming employee, as well as we don't want to offer something that's beyond the market range, because where I come from, the development sector, we usually do a market survey in terms of salaries every year, and all development agencies usually pay a certain range of salary for specialists, for technical roles, and for operations roles like HR, finance, procurement, etc. So, it varies from organization to organization. And some organizations also like top competitors. So you have like the telecommunication industry, which is very competitive, like you have Dialog, you have Mobitel, you have Hutch. So like you have a number of players in the market. Then the hospitality sectors like that. Even hospitals, the healthcare sector is also very, very so demanding industry in the sense that, people can always move from one organization to another in these different sectors. And, doing that, they can also demand a salary. So generally, if you have faith or if you have belief and confidence in your skills and abilities, you can demand a good salary, and your employer will definitely agree to pay it if that meets within that range. And another thing, Yulia, that I really, really want to emphasize here, something that I personally struggle to is, I think overall they say men are better negotiators than women, and I don't know, in terms of, I think it's more to do with assertiveness and the ability to influence, etc. One of my own experiences is that one thing, you really need to believe that you deserve a good salary. You need to believe that you deserve all the facilities. So this, you're also creating within you an abundance mindset, you know? So don't always think that, okay, I'll be just happy to receive what I get. I mean, yes, I'm not asking for us to be greedy. I'm not asking for us to be over demanding, but I'm also asking us to generate or nurture within us an abundance mindset where we believe that we truly deserve a really good salary and a really good package for what we offer. So with that thinking and empowerment in mind, I'm sure you will have a lot of strength and a lot of confidence to be able to face an interview as well as demand what you truly deserve.
Exactly, I agree. I had the same challenge because whenever I was offered a job, especially my first jobs, I think 2 jobs, I was ready to work for any type of salary, just for getting experience, right? And that's normal probably when we start our jobs. The first jobs, we are not so confident to demand, and that's natural. I would say, but if you have skills, you deserve to have the salary which is paid in that range, in that industry, in the range, right? Not less than the range given in the industry. I mean, even if you are doing the first time job, of course. So that's very important to show that the confidence and believe in yourself, right? And not to tend to over demand. Obviously, if you specifically may not have all the skills required for that job. So it's like finding probably the right balance. At the same time, I would add that doing the market research, like, yeah, it's really useful to check about the salaries paid, not only local, but maybe international companies for similar types of jobs, so that you have a maybe transition from one industry to another as an expert. Still, you can have better salary option, right? Do not, there are other points we would like also to mention here, that you should not say in the job interview that you will do anything that is given. If you give that promise, you will be always staying after work, doing additional assignments, right? So, and you may do some job that you don't like even to do, because if you give this type of promise, people will expect you to follow, to keep your promise. And that's better probably to say that you will do a job as per job descriptions. And of course, you will have flexibility as required. If you have to replace other team member in the office, maybe you could do that just to get new experience. That's also useful, of course, but don't probably promise that you will do any type of task, right? And ask about what this company does. Please don't ask about company. That shows that you didn't research properly about the company before you applied for a job. But you can always clarify some project related maybe questions. If you don't have this information on the website of the company, then you can clarify, right? But generally, whatever is given on the website, it's better like not to ask these questions, showing that you are not aware of the company in general, what they are doing, in which market, what products or services they have. It's better not to only talk in general, but also to give examples to show that you have experience in the similar type of situations, right? Of course, we can continue this list and we can mention cultural expectations related, probably more things that we should not do. But because of time, we'll move to practice now. And before we practice, it's important to understand the questions that you may get in the job interview. They may have this type of structure related to the context. So it's very important to mention example when you demonstrated specific skill or competency. For example, interviewer may ask you, in which situation did you experience maybe a setback, some challenge that you had to resolve in the workplace? maybe when you had to work in a team from different cultures. Then you have to come up with example. Maybe you had some project, maybe during your even FEMtrain program, you can give us an example. Maybe you had to listen to one of the speakers and you could not understand, right? And then you try to use your active listening skills. You try to spend some time checking some words, language maybe that you could not understand, or maybe you get used to the accent which was used. Likewise, you show that you adapted to the challenge, and you could, as a result, to some extent, you could perform the task, right? And the action in which what the candidate did to demonstrate the competency, that means what was your active response, your action that you took to make sure that the task completed. Maybe you had to ask for help even. You never know. I mean, it's not only that you have to do some assignments by yourself. In this case, as we recommended, please contact other FEMtrain participants if you have challenges or us, and get that support for you to complete the project. So that is required if you have maybe a lack of expertise in some field. You may have to take actions not only by yourself, but also to work with a team to get experience from them to complete some project. So, and then result could be final outcome that you have achieved. Like some of you submitted assignments. This is your result, because you managed not only to do it by yourself, but you contacted others, and it was a teamwork, right? So likewise, we consider context, action, and result. It's very important when you answer different types of questions in the job interview, competency related. So if we ask you example of the question about your communication skills, imagine you will get a question, describe a situation in the past when you were able to influence someone who was difficult to persuade. So this is important if you apply for a job where you have to show your communication skills. And you're talking about specific situation. Remember, you have to mention the context, action, and result of that. So start from the context. Remember, context means psychological expectations, maybe environment that you had in that particular situation. Imagine situation, maybe in your team, your group, you have assignment, and then one of team members maybe has one approach. They want to do this assignment within 1 week, but you think that it's not possible to complete it, to provide the same quality. So you want to do it in 2 weeks time, and then you try to convince another team member to do it in 2 weeks time because you have reason for that, right? And you have good reason. Yeah, sure. Imali has suggested to show some model that will help us to understand better how it works. So please, let's do it now so that we can have better clarity on these aspects, right? Because it's really important. So would you like to share the screen, I think, right now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about what I'm going to show as well. So basically, this is the STAR method. You know, if you just Google on STAR method for interview, you will find this. And why the STAR model or the STAR method is popular basically in the development sector or anywhere else where you would use competencies. Competency-based interviews, it is ideal that you answer the questions following the STAR method, right? Basically what the employer is trying to, or the recruiter or the interview panel wants to know is, they want to identify a situation in your previous experience where you have demonstrated the kind of behavior or the kind of skills that it's now that's now tied up to the current role that you're applying. Let's say, for example, you're applying for a starter as a telephone operator, right? And they want to identify your mannerism. They want to know your telephone etiquette. They want to know, are you pleasant, or are you sort of positively engaged when answering queries or questions. So they want to identify from you a situation where you have demonstrated that skill before. So they may ask you questions like, can you give me an example of handling a difficult client on the telephone? Can you give me an example of handling a query where you did not have the answer immediately? What was your answer to the client there? So they will put you on the spot and ask you some testing questions where you have demonstrated these behaviors or the competencies in a previous situation. So in such cases, we recommend that you use the STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Situation is where you describe what happened previously. So you can say, well, it was a busy day. I had many telephone calls, and then there was this particular client who refused to be on hold. And then task. My task in that particular role, or my task in the training was to support different people with information. And what was the action you took? Okay, because he refused to be on hold, I told him if I could share the information on an email. And what was the result? The client understood that I was very patient and I really wanted to help him. Therefore, the client was happy to receive the information via an email. So just like that, you can mention a situation, you can mention your task in that particular role, and how you administered the situation, means how you carried yourself or managed that situation in terms of your action. And another thing in the STAR method is when you use action, you should also use very, sort of elaborate your action in words like, I was patient, I was listening attentively, and things like where you demonstrate your qualities of sort of the personal qualities in terms of being attentive to somebody, in terms of having attention to detail, in terms of being proactive. So these are the kind of qualities that you need to emphasize when you mention the action that you took. And then the result. The result is, of course, the outcome that happened as an effect of your action. So I will quickly show you a gentleman on YouTube who answers a question, right? Give me a moment, I'll get to sharing in a minute. Okay, please, can someone confirm that you can see the screen now? Okay, perfect. Thanks, Celia.
It looks like no sound.
elderly customer telephoned me. So the question is, tell me about a time when you went above and beyond for a customer. Here's my answer. In a previous role, a situation came about where an elderly customer telephoned me to ask for assistance when placing an order from our website. Now, it was obvious that the customer was very nervous, they were worried about giving their card details online, and they were also unsure which product to choose. So I saw it as my task to help them, to reassure them, and also to walk them through the online ordering process. Now, the action I took to help the customer was, first of all, I asked them a series of questions to establish what type of product they wanted to order. I also asked them how they would like to place the order online. I also asked them whether they had any specific questions that they would like me to ask, and I answered them to make sure I helped them overcome their nerves and increase confidence when using our website. Now, after spending about 10 or 15 minutes helping the customer, walking them through the online ordering system, and also reassuring them that their card details were not kept on our system, we managed to successfully place the order. And the customer then went away, they thanked me for going above and beyond to help them, and they also left a positive review online about their experience with our company. So you can see there, by using situation, task, action and result, it enables you to give really in-depth, specific answers to tough behavioural interview questions. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you would like to learn more about how to answer behavioural interview questions, there is a link that has appeared right now at the top of this video. Make sure you check it out, and you can watch me live.
Okay, I'll take 2 quick minutes just to wrap up what we learned. Can anybody relate, or can anybody play back or tell us a little bit about their learning from this video? Anyone? What did you learn about the STAR technique, or what did you learn from his experience of handling a client who was trying to order and product from a website? Julia, any thoughts from you?
Well, I found it very useful, this model, because I think the one that I showed, it didn't have a task specific point mentioned, because task we have to explain, also very important to mention the type of task that we had to do, so that interviewer can understand whether you could make it or not as an outcome, right? Whether you could achieve it or not. So if we relate to our assignment related, we could say that our assignment task was to submit, let's say, the project before deadline. And then when I could not submit it, my action was to consult other team members to get feedback from them, how they did it, so that I could complete it on time as a deadline. So that proves that you have teamwork and you have communication skills, so that you can prioritize your time management and to achieve the result on time. So I think that's those really aligned if you include that task aspect there separately. Thank you for sharing. I find it personally very useful.
Yeah, exactly, because sometimes it may not be that our task to actually perform that thing, or to perform that activity. But the reason it's important to mention is because, for example, here, if you remember, the interview question was, give an experience or share with us a situation where you have gone the extra mile, where you have done something additional to your responsibility. So you see the candidate takes a number of minutes to explain what he did. He spent time with the client who had some insecurities about the website, as Prasadini has just highlighted. So his task there was to actually build trust with the client, and in such a way that the client builds trust with the website, as well as how it functions and the organization as a whole. And usually, you know that, how emotions, how our relationship with the sales people or how our relationship with customer care executives influence us to make purchases or influence us to have a long-term relationship with a certain product or with a certain organization. So, this is a number of, it's a bigger thing. It extends to brand loyalty and a number of other things. But what I'm saying is that, this is the kind of word, this is the kind of explanation that you need to give in order to spell out a situation, in order to spell out what actions did you take and how it influenced the outcome or the desired outcome. Okay, all right, then I'll just pause and allow Yulia to continue. And thank you for allowing me to show.
Thank you, Imali. So if we have any other situations you would like to share, participants, please feel free how you apply this model, STAR model, to illustrate. Let's try to do it now because we have some more types of questions to answer as practice. So I want you to think of your experience, how to apply STAR model. So as we discussed, it could be communication related. It could be also like achievement oriented. It could be the question that where you have to face some difficulty. For example, a time when you were not able to influence someone on an important issue. So that means you tried your best, but you could not achieve it for some reason. And then you also apply this strategy STAR. For example, if influencing skills are very important for your job, for example, if you apply for managerial jobs or else communication related. So I can give you example from my side. I could not influence maybe if you have to deal with customers or who is your target market, with whom you have to communicate. For example, if in my job, I want to say that I'm a good manager, I want to apply for managerial job, and maybe I could not influence one of team members in specific situation. The task was to convince team member to be part of the project, but I could not convince him because on important issue, right? To maybe complete the project on time. I could not convince all team to speed up to complete the project. And because it was not personal choice, but in that context, maybe there were other external factors that influenced the outcome. So as a result, it was not even about influencing skills or persuading skills. Or maybe you had lack of information about the situation. So then you had to learn more so that you can improve your persuasion skills to influence others. Maybe you didn't know enough information, didn't have enough information about your customers, but then you learned and you could still influence, right? Why we ask these type of questions, which are a little bit adversity oriented, to check how you face challenges and how you explain that. But these types of questions are more difficult, of course, to answer. Let's talk a bit about teamwork. Can you give some example when you were able to proactively resolve a conflict with a team? What means proactively resolve means it was positive outcome, that you could come as a mediator, negotiator, maybe, as in your school time, maybe, or maybe university time. Can you share, please? Who is ready to share this example? Remember, you have to talk about situation. We may not have a task, but you wanted probably to avoid not to avoid the conflict, but to find out the reason why it happened, that conflict, right? And then what did you do for that? And finally, what was the result? Do we have participants who are ready to share? This is really a very common question about teamwork. So who has teamwork experience to share? Please. Who is ready to share? How did you resolve a conflict? Shall I ask? I don't know who would like to share. Who is not confident, but who would like to share your experience, please? Don't worry it's just a learning opportunity, so please don't be serious. We are not going to judge. So who is ready?
Yeah, I'm Danusha here.
Okay.
So I can remember when I was in my university. So we had assignment like we have to introduce a new product like food or beverage. It's a marketing assignment. So we were like 10 members in our group. So all had different ideas to create some different foods and beverage. And we need to show how we can market in a different way, not in a traditional way. So our lecturers were expected a different way to market those items. So in our team, 2-3 members had different ideas. So in that point, we couldn't decide one good idea. So at that time, we have confused really. So after that, because all those 3 ideas are really useful and we can do that. So at that time, I just went to one of my lectures there and I discussed about those 3 ideas, and it's like I get idea, or I just discuss this issue with managerial level. That means the top level people, and my lecturer have given a sort. Actually, she thought one of idea will be good. She said like that, and we do like that. And I really proactive for that, and I just told if we cannot make a decision, we can ask from our top level. So I just solved that like that.
Cool. I mean, this is a very good example. As a result, what was the outcome? Your team members, they were happy about the outcome. Like they didn't feel like unhappy based on this solution?
Actually, no. Our lecturer told us one decision, but that is very acceptable in practical. So we all accept that decision.
Exactly. And as a result, you could also find the best result, and you got the best score probably based on that choice that you've made, right? The result was good for your team. You got better score, right? We never know what score you could get if you have selected different option, but still you could find another new person.
Yeah, we came in top 5 group. But one of us not satisfied by that decision, and that is really an upset for us. But we couldn't do anything. We have to take that decision.
Yeah, definitely, because the outcome was the most important that you achieved as a result of your teamwork also. And it's good to have a choice, because we can always get the best option out of available options. So that's exactly how we have to do it. I like that Danusha mentioned also the context. how it happened. And it was kind of a conflict situation because it was difficult to make a choice, obviously. And finding a person who is more or less neutral, like to do assessment, would be a good choice rather than deciding by yourself, okay, this sounds better, so shall we go for this option? But being part of the team, it may not be easier, right? Not to take sides, to be neutral, objective. Okay, thank you, Danusha. I mean, that's exactly how we have to do this assignment. Do we have more participants who would like to share teamwork related? Or maybe example of situation when it was not a positive outcome? So the opposite, which is not positive outcome. It may also happen. And we, in our workplace, we may not have always positive results. So that's why it's important to mention some maybe outcome which was not as you expected for some reasons, external factors, something that you could not predict even, right? As Danusha mentioned, in this situation, one of the team members was not happy, probably was a bit upset about this choice. But still, you could prevent to some extent the conflict, and to some extent it was like solved, not even prevented, but solved, resolved the conflict, right? So likewise, you can think of any, who else would like to share, please? Teamwork. So we'll give you a chance. Other questions, if we have teamwork, let me know, please. So which questions we should avoid? So first of all, which questions are not acceptable in the job interview? Let's say, if you face a situation when you asked a personal question, like, are you married? Do you have children? What are your religious practices? So these questions can be having personal nature, right? Why? Because it's like intervention into your personal life. In some cultures, these questions are acceptable probably, but it doesn't mean that it is right to ask this type of questions in the job interview. So personally, I can say in Ukraine, for example, I got this type of questions, but at that time I didn't know that I have right not to answer these questions because it's personal. And married, your status you can check in the form also, and especially regarding children, you have right to not to answer these questions because that should not determine whether you will get a job or not. Even if you have children, even if you are married, right? And what type of religion you have especially, because we should not allow a space for discrimination based on your ethnicity, your color of skin, your beliefs, your culture, right? Especially we have to be mindful of these sensitive questions, right? And what will guide you best practice approach, and knowing that these are private, that these type of questions are privacy related. Then if examiner asks you questions where they expect you to like close types of questions without an opportunity for you to explain, like you consulted your supervisor before you took the action, right? This doesn't give a space. It means that you have to say yes or no only. And this type of question is not really a right one. You better ask the question open. How did you act? Did you seek advice from other people? But you don't ask specifically to guide the person to answer the question in a specific way. Then double questions. Double questions when you ask a question which is very long. And that may happen that in the interview you will get very long question and you don't understand it even. So in that situation, like for example, examiner might ask you, can you please talk about your experience in planning and about last time you needed to empower a team member? So these are two completely different questions, and you have a right to ask, could you please could you please repeat the question, the first question? Then I could answer the second one also, to give clarity that there are two questions in one question, right? Because that is a little bit difficult. You cannot answer it because you cannot really focus your attention on two questions at the same time, right? And it is your right. And why interviewers may ask this type of questions? Because they intentionally, maybe even not intentionally, they may not know this, that it's not right type of question, or maybe they intentionally would like to mislead you a little bit. You never know, right? So let's move on to our practice. We have another type of question. Describe a time when you had to deal with pressure. So of course we have a lot of pressure because of our studies, assignments. And I want to introduce today this system, what we call positive points and negative points. So how interviewers will check your answer? They will check some positive points based on your answer using this STAR model. What was the context? What was your action? What was the result, right? And they will check, for example, if you say that you had a positive attitude, you tried to solve the problem despite the pressure that came because of time, or maybe because of additional unexpected conditions, like because of COVID, maybe we didn't have a chance to do some projects, but we found solution how to do it online, even though we were under pressure, right? So this is positive. But if you say, I could not do that project because of COVID situation, we could not complete it and we stopped it completely. So you say you could not find even one solution how to do this project otherwise, right? So please find ways to have focus on more positive points when you answer. For example, you should mention also there are limitations. And I realized that because of COVID, we could not do even this FEMtrain program in the classroom. As an example, our project. But we decided to conduct this program online because we still wanted to complete it before 15th of November. And this is our project of FEMtrain program team. And, you know, we realized that we could not get participants only from Gampaha. So this opportunity to do online program allowed us to bring people from different regions, right? And that is our advantage even of this new mode of conducting the program online. At the same time, we could find a good compromise. That means in case we could do some classes in the facilities of Manchester, we could do some classes, but unfortunately we cannot do it because of course we are going to complete this program now. Otherwise we could have considered an option to do some classes in the classroom. I mean, for you to have that classroom experience also. So likewise, I explain the situation, right? And I give you the context, I give you actions that we take and result. And hopefully FEMtrain program participants all will graduate, those who are determined to prove that you have skills to complete assignments so that we can see you in the graduation and issue you certificates, right? So likewise, do you have example when you had a pressure, like stressful situation to deal with and you could still manage? If there is a need for help, you can even ask for help in this type of situation, and that is positive. But you should not face this challenge alone only, right? And only because of our FEMtrain team, we could have successful project, because otherwise it would not be possible to bring diversity in our team. Like some participants joined from different countries even, because we ask them to help us to share the experience, right? So do we have a sample from your side when you had to face a situation and work under pressure? You can talk about your exam. How did you ask your friends to help you, maybe to prepare for exam, right? And you could still complete the project maybe together. Do we have willing participants who can answer? So while we are waiting for your confirmation, let me move to next point. So knowing these positive and negative indicators, you should you should think from the perspective of the interviewer, how they will assess your answer, right? For example, if they ask you, do you have some experience of drafting correspondence, like written communication? Can you please give an example of a time when you had to draft correspondence, like emails or maybe letters or reports or CV, whatever, any type of document? If you apply for a job where you have to do this type of job, writing, communicating with customers, for example, these days we have a lot of jobs like that online as well. So what was the situation? What was the role that you had? So it's pretty similar to the task, right? I think role, it could be also task, we can call it. So you can mention, for example, even in this FEMtrain program, you had to submit a lot of written assignments, right? Like letters you had to write, and also CV as a document, but you can talk about your school related or university related experience. Who wants to share? What can be written communication? It could be emails, letters, reports. It could be even some assignments, presentations that you prepared, right? So who wants to share? Today we are silent, no? Who wants to share? Rochelle maybe, or Prasadini, or Demini, Samadhi? Who wants to share? Who had experience of writing this, any type of documents? So today we are passive listeners. So who wants to? Danush, are you ready? I can see you are connected. Would you like to come in?
Yes, of course. If you don't mind, can you please explain what I need to express?
Yeah, the situation when you communicated with other maybe students or maybe with even your clients, even with your customers, using emails or any other type of document.
Yes, I have experience on that. Yeah, I have sent emails to the customer who, when I was working in an apparel company, I have to investigate the customer's inquiry. So at that time, I need to answer the queries of customers. So sometimes we don't have some materials in the company, but some customers really wanted that materials. At that time we cannot exactly, we cannot tell right now we don't have or we are not available to provide that certain material. Now at that time I want to satisfy the customer, like no, at the point we don't have the material. Within few days I will get back to you soon. Likewise, I have satisfied the customer.
And you communicated using emails and also telephone calls, or how did you confirm?
Yeah, I communicate via emails most of the time.
Okay. And the outcome was customers were happy and loyal to wait for the delivery, right? Or for the product?
Yeah, 80% of customers says okay, but 20% of customers, it's really hard to satisfy the customers because they need very immediately. So at that time, I just say the truth, what's happening at the company, but sometimes they need the material or the product. At that time, few situation, I outsource the items for the customers. I took the material from another factory and I provide like that.
Okay, and saying that, you prove that you have problem-solving skills also, because you found solution to satisfy the needs of the customers, right? Despite all the difficulties you experienced because items were out of stock.
Yes, of course.
Right, so that's how we have to show that we can manage the situation, right? Having options beyond even your organization capacity. Thank you for sharing that, Nusha. I mean, that says a lot about your experience, your skills that you have to communicate. Okay, Prasadini is there also joining to communicate about a situation that's related to managing under pressure, right? Shall I go back to the slide? Please, could you mention how was it the situation, right?
Hello everyone. So I want to share about my recent experience. So the situation is facing my driving trials. So actually due to stress and panicking too much, the thing that and then well, I can do reverse, but due to panicking and out of stress I couldn't do it. But I learned that now I will not do that mistake again. So I wrote my mistakes and I wrote about what I'm grateful about the experience which I had during that day. So I want to tell you guys that don't stress, because if you stress, the thing you can do perfectly you can't do when you over stress. That's what I want to share. Thank you so much.
Wow, I mean, that's a lesson learned from the situation. That says a lot about your lessons that you learned, and you share it, you are ready to share about it, right? And how you would do it differently next time. So what was your strategy? You used the strategy to write it in the gratitude journal, right? And that's one of, how did you feel afterwards, after you wrote it in the gratitude journal?
Actually, I felt very happy, and now I am ready to face my second trials. I will not repeat the same mistake again.
You're confident, right? So you could manage it much better, right? Okay, I mean, that's exactly what we have to do. And this time you had the help not only from maybe other people, but you found solutions for yourself, like very good practice. Journaling helps us to manage stress. And we talked a lot about it. And thank you for sharing. It's really helpful. I'm sure that many can benefit from also your experience. And that says a lot about your ability to face this type of situations and improve, right? And every time, as despite all these challenges, right? So thank you. And do we have more participants who would like to share maybe similar situations, or we have also accountability related when you had to delegate a task to another person? In this case, you have to prove that you can trust other people to do the task in a teamwork. Maybe you had difficulties working in a team, or maybe innovation. When you find it difficult, maybe to face a change, or maybe you could manage the change, or maybe sharing knowledge with other people, you helped others to learn something new in the team, or maybe for your customers. So who wants to share any of these competencies that we have? Or maybe decision making, when you had to make a decision, like Danusha also mentioned about her decision to outsource, right? That is also decision making, not only problem solving. And leading and empowering others. Maybe you had a chance to support other team members for them to do better job, right? Or managing performance when you, maybe it's more managerial, of course. So any other examples would you like to share about these competences? Let's see who is there. Maybe Rochelle would like, or somebody. Domini. Rochelle, would you like to come in also? Please let me know which competency would you like to talk about. Still, we have a little bit of time. So while you are thinking, let me show you also another slide on create client-oriented approach. Same strategy, we apply positive and negative indicators. Please pay attention, what is considered to be positive, what is negative. And accordingly, you can always explain the situation, right? And the outcome and result, type of task. So we'll be sharing these slides already we sent actually. So there you have different types of questions, how interviewers will check your skills about how you can handle client related situations, communication skills. And notice what considered to be as negative indicator, we should not show it. If you show it, that means the interviewer will mark you down in this type of competency, right? For example, here we have creativity even. So let's not forget, creativity has to do with also problem solving, thinking out of the box, outside thinking, outside the box thinking, whether you have new ideas, right? How to solve the situation, decision making. I'm just showing you, maybe you have some examples to share with us based on these skills that you had before experience. So then we can talk about integrity. Actually, integrity, it's about honesty. So why we discussed honesty is very important, because this is about values. And some organizations, they really check your values. For example, when I applied to UN, also they checked values, whether we have integrity. That means you consider not personal benefits from the job. You are interested also to contribute. You are professional, ethical in your behavior. You are honest, whatever you say, right? You follow your principles, your values in decision making. This is really important. And even if there are challenges, you don't compromise your values and organizational values also. So integrity, that means in your behavior, in your actions, right? And then we have leadership. Leadership may be useful for some of you if you also target managerial jobs. So please check what we should not do as a good leader. We should not set goals which are not clear, according to SMART, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, time-bound, result-oriented goals we have to set. If we are delegating the tasks, then we are good leaders. That means we don't do everything by ourselves. If you are a good leader, you know that you can share tasks with other people so that you can complete the project on time. Like imagine if I wanted to do this program by myself only, I don't know how this program would be, how it would be possible, because without Imali, Ashita, Marie, Mr. Chandana, who joined also, and other speakers, and Ms. Manik, we would not be able to complete all these topics. And that's a teamwork, right? That's a teamwork and ability to share, delegate the tasks to each other. And good managers, they make use of skills of other people they plan and organize, right? So planning and organizing skills are also here. If you also pay attention to respect for diversity, especially because if you apply for jobs where you have to work with people from different cultures, and not only in Sri Lanka, you have diversity also. So there could be questions about your behavior with people from different cultures. How did you manage communication? For example, if you were not sensitive, that's not a positive indicator. So likewise, we have a lot of questions. Unfortunately, we cannot answer all of them today, but professionalism is also another useful, because all of us, we have to be professional in our technical expertise, not only soft skills. Let's not forget about it. So what means being professional? That means even being calm, even in stressful situations. And stress management skills, we have also discussed quite a lot, right? Being able to be motivated by the job itself. We are motivated FEMtrain because when we see the results of our participants, all the assignments that you have submitted, for us, it's the best motivation we could get from this project, to be honest. And I'm sure Emali would agree with me that, I mean, this is one of the best projects that we could imagine, because we get a chance to do something that we really love doing, to make that difference, starting from ourselves. And with your help also, hopefully FEMtrain program will be also, maybe some of you would like to join as FEMtrain for next batch, to be lecturers also. We would like to invite you for this opportunity, also to improve your skills if you're interested in this field. Right, and teamwork. Okay, Prasadini says, I wanted to tell about helping and guiding others in correct paths. There was one time when one of my friends didn't have self-confidence to face the test for the second time. So what I did, I helped her to believe in herself. Even though you fail, just take it as an experience and you can definitely pass. And trust in me, she went and she got a big grade. I mean, that's exactly what you do. Even if you work in a team in the office, you motivate other people. And this is very useful skill or even quality of your character that you show not only as a team worker, but also as a leader, motivating others, right? And Prasadini, you already showed those skills. So I hope that today you have realized that all skills you already have, even if you didn't have a chance to do a job still, but you have all these skills based on experiences that you had in your life, right? And please feel free to communicate about them during the job interview. That's what I would like to emphasize, right? Before we finish today's session. I know time is up. And Imali, would you like to join also for the, maybe with another points before we close the session?
Yes, I think we've come to an important day, and end does not happen without a beginning. So I remember connecting with Yulia about 2 months back on a project like this. So it's great to be able to collaborate with her and the others. And there's something that I learned from my initial days in learning as a training facilitator, that learning doesn't happen without learners. So it would not have been possible without you, the audience, who would opt, who would volunteer.
Connection issue, right? Amalia, now it's better, right? I think Imali lost connection. So we will wait a bit, just 1 minute. I think she will be able to reconnect. So I'd like to continue also her point, saying that thank you for being with us during these 2.5 months period of time. And we learned a lot from you. And we encourage you also to share your feedback. We will be providing a feedback form so that you can mention what we can improve about this program, what you find useful, and also feedback about all our speakers, so that we know what really worked for you personally, right? Imali has joined.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's fine.
Yes, there was an instant power cut, power failure in my home. Right, so what I was just saying is that I truly hope that you will learn, you have gained much knowledge from these sessions, as much as we enjoyed facilitating them for you. And I believe that they'll be useful to you at some point in your career as you start it, in your careers as you transition from one role to another, or as you decide to move from, a professional career to so many other options. There are so many other things today. You can get into freelancing, you can start your own thing, become an entrepreneur. So, it's so many opportunities out there for you. So I really hope that you have found these skills and knowledge really relevant and useful. Lastly, I also want to mention that the true joy in learning, is a lifetime thing. And we learn throughout our life, every day, every single second, even through ups and downs, through our good and bad experiences, we learn something in life. So I want you to continue this habit of learning and keep your interest. It's also what we call lifelong learning, because learning is not just for today or tomorrow. It's just forever. There might be a time that you will use one of your learning from here, apply it to a life situation, apply it to a work context about 2-3 years down. So you never know. Learning is so volatile, it's very spontaneous. And another thing is I also want to stress is about continuous professional development, CPD, which is very relevant in careers or in personal life today, because what we teach today goes out of sync tomorrow, and something better evolves. There's a new principle, there's a new concept that has come out. So learning is an evolving subject, forever evolving, right? So it's always best for you to make it a habit to continuously update yourself on all these things. LinkedIn has very good courses, very work related, and they are built and developed by experts who come from professions. So for example, in LinkedIn, unlike in many others that I've seen, there are definitely people from HR, recruiters, because that they speak the same language as us. So, it's done from a very capable pool of experts. So LinkedIn courses I can recommend. Coursera is very good. Allison is also good. And there are so many others out there. Please continue to foster your love and desire towards learning, and wish you all the very best. And thank you for being with this program and helping us to learn as well on our journey, learning from your knowledge, from your own thoughts and perceptions. And I think that's how learning is, because we learn something from one another every little day. So thanks a lot again, and wish you very well.
Thank you, Imali. I'd love also to hear from participants. We'll give a chance during graduation for all of you to express what you feel and share what we would like to share with us. If you have anything to share today, please do share with us before we close the session.
Hello.
Yes, Nanush?
Yes, Miss Yulia. First of all, I would like to thank Miss Manicure because she only shown this way, and she sent me to join this course. This will be a very good course for your future. And of course, it is very valuable course for us, especially for women, because in future, this all kind of information will help for us. We know all the things, but in my case, I don't know how to implement this all the things in proper way or in a appropriate way. But today I know how to apply this all the information and knowledge in a good way. So I would like to thank the FEMtrain team, especially Miss Yulia and Miss Imali and other team members. Thanks a lot. Thank you. And I would like to keep in touch you all again in another project. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Danusha. I mean, definitely we'll keep in touch, and we are looking forward to new projects coming from you, from your side, and we'll be coming there, joining you in that journey. So feel free to share in our all social network channels that we have created, so that we'll be in touch in the long-term process.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Brasadini says also thank you, and discovered great people, friends and mentors, got a chance to express myself. Right, so that's the most important. Brasadini, thank you for that, because self-expression is the purpose of our program. I believe Imali would agree, right? So we'll encourage you to self-express yourself. I mean, and we would like to be part of all your projects. I mean, and we are there to support them. So feel free to share all your projects and further continue this journey of self-expression. Somebody also says thank you, and speakers, a valuable course. Okay, great, thank you. So I don't want to keep you long today. Also, if we have any other participants who would like to communicate, please, you can come in. Okay, lots of love. I think we are sharing in the chat. Thank you. And then Rochelle says, you too, during the time in this program, I have found myself and be better version of me. Okay, that's exactly what we target, because all of us are here with the same purpose. We want to realize our potential and become better every day. So that's a life-learn process, as Imali has mentioned also, right? Thank you for being with us together. And right. So then, thank you. We'll complete the session, and we'll see you all next, hopefully, time both online, offline. We'll try how to arrange it. If not possible offline, then online, but we will be able already to hopefully issue certificates also by that time. So thank you all, and please stay safe. Okay, Demini says thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you. All the best. See you next week.
All right, bye everyone. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye. Stay around, Julia.